Hi, welcome to One Word a Day. I'm Sophie, your pilot into the universe of Chinese. Today we are going to continue. And actually today we're going off chain because the whole thing, the premise of Chinese exploration we have been doing so far, mostly stay on the chain of thoughts or chain of characters. So we meander through the Chinese language, just randomly going through different phrases, jump from phrase to phrase, connecting with a common shared character, one or two. And then you can see the same character used in different phrases, how their meaning, their tone subtly change. So that's the way I organize the material. But sometimes it's like I have some ideas, I want to go off chain. And today is a kind of little bit of social commentary kind of off chain that it's related to what we talked about yesterday. We have 眼光犀利, means this eyes, the light from the eyes. So it's your trend reading. So that's what the light means, like you're projecting into the future what's going to happen. So your trend reader eye are going to be, it's depicted as rhino horn, pointy, sharp. So it's very piercing, like you are really sharp with what you see. So that's 眼光犀利. And overall, it just means discerning. And today we have 犀利哥, so same sharp. We have this rhino horn sharp, and we have this crop cutting sharp. So both of them have things on them that's about the sharp, right? And so together, it just means piercing. It's a sharp, super edgy, so to speak. And then 哥 means, this Chinese bro character. It's bigger brother. Well, one thing about Chinese is we, among siblings, like in English, we just say brother, right? You couldn't tell the brother is senior to you or junior to you. But in Chinese, we made it very explicit. We spell out if your age relationship. So 哥 is specifically somebody who's older than you, more senior to you, more knowledgeable, right? Can totally bully you if up to him, like if he wants, right? And of course, in Chinese, we do have kind of a moral bindings. So normally brothers, your older brother brothers are going to take care of the younger ones, right? Going to treat them nice, but who knows? A variety of type of relationship is really interpersonal. You cannot tell. So good. Here we have the formation of 个 is stacking up of two 可 together. So, okay, so here's the thing. Normally in Chinese, when we have the same symbol repeated twice, let me see what other stuff. Well, right now my brain is kind of slow, but normally when we repeat stuff, we don't really stack it. We place it horizontally. I'm trying to think of, yeah, like we place it horizontally of like a human figure. We have two human figure. That means one following another. So it's horizontally placed, but over here it's vertically placed. The same symbol repeated twice, vertically placed, stacking up together. So I guess that's one possibility as well. I cannot really say which way is more frequent right now. I need to gather more evidence before I blurt out my observation. Okay, so 个 came composed by two 可s. Okay, 可 is, you can see, it's a kind of sound. 个 is carrying over the vowel of a sound from 可, and then 可 by itself means okay, means permission, like you have the permission to do something. And 可 came from this stand of like this horizontal line and then a vertical line. The vertical line is not a straight, it got a kind of a tail, a tapered inward. And that was interpreted as the kind of like a podium. We never know as the offspring thousands of years later to to imagine like what kind of stand that is, but it was said to be the God or divine decoder. So back then, some people have to read what's the mind, what's on the mind of the creator of the universe. And then, this mouse symbol put in there to interpret their intention. Like, is it going to be good harvest year or bad? Because I guess back then there's no like weather broadcast man or to foresee, calculate, or the satellite observation of what's going to come, right? What is there any disaster in the baking in the future, something like that. So when people want to forecast what's going to happen like this year or next year, this divine decoder is the one to turn to, and they are the ones to say yes or no. They are going to tell you, interpret the intention, like is it going to be a good year or not for your crop. Basically, that's the main question there. So that's 可. 可 means permission, like you heard from the divine, yes, okay, you can do it. I mean, there is a negation portion of it, but 可 in this, the decoder's stand and the mouse symbol means it's the order is given and it's from the divine and you can do something. And we have 可 stacking up. It's like, okay, that's our brother symbol. So I guess brother is the one who gave you okay twice guy in your life, I guess. So rhino sharp brother is simply this, Chinese way of saying sharp dude. So sharp dude, I translate it as a sharp dude. 犀利哥 is how it sounds to me, a Chinese sound like a sharp dude. But I know in English, we don't really have such a corresponding concept of sharp dude. What does that mean? Okay, basically, this is the most famous Chinese homeless person that was like by chance captured on camera and become an instant sensation on the internet in 2010. So 2010 is like right at the beginning age of social media, right? People start to comment, share thoughts and observations of what they captured on their camera. And that's the beginning. And there are many different sensations backwards, right? Back after that. But in 2010, like he was the name of the year, basically. Like he wiped out every other keywords of that year. And 犀利哥 becomes like got incorporated in our language. And 犀利哥 specifically directed to this one guy, one dude. And it becomes a cultural symbol in Chinese language. And I want to share with you today. That's why it's off-chain. It's not our standard language use, but it was coined in 2010. Chinese language users, Chinese language by itself, it gives you such rich tools to create new concepts just by combining different things together. Boom, and then the phrase catch on, and then 1.4 billion. Well, that doesn't include baby and all, but I know it's millions of internet users accepted and got popularized, and this is the standard term, like incorporated into our language. Like people know, like when you say 犀利哥 to a Chinese, they will appreciate, they know what you're talking about. It's this particular homeless guy captured in this outfit with this ruffled hair and kind of an attitude, right? Kind of a beastly attitude, almost like because he's a survivor on the street, is homeless, like no, like he probably doesn't work, and it's totally out of norm in a Chinese perception of how you make a living, how you live. And China, if you visit there, you probably can see the homeless, at least when I was there, homeless was not really a lifestyle choice like in the West. Like you can choose to be homeless. You can still survive. But in China, if you choose to be homeless, it's really not your choice, actually. Most people won't choose if they have other options to be homeless because there's no social network or, I mean, organizations, nonprofit organizations to take care of you at all. Like in China, you cannot easily survive the street on your own. Like you're purely on your own means and device. So this is a toughened street survivor, and he has that kind of beastly look, right? You have to kind of be ferocious in a way, to survive in a Chinese street. And like in winter times, it can get cold, right? So that's why he layered up in to stay warm through the nights. And I mean, this is a functional programmatic utilitarian way of outfitting himself as a survivor of the street. And he doesn't really have a choice to have showers. And it's really a tough living. But the tough living created this look, happened to kind of match the look from the runway. And runway is a kind of art, right? Fashion, imitating life. And like over here, like it's almost like a mirror image. And I mean, between the two dudes, Western and Chinese dude, you can see like he is the real dude, right? He is the survivor, the real deal, so to speak. And he wear these for the purpose of surviving on street versus this is for the look, right? Try to adopt this edgy, attitude, this beastly ferociousness from who is surviving in life like that. Like this is an imitator of what's real here. And the thing is, this homeless guy, like layered on himself, create this fashion similar image, like a projected back. Like people can find that the two looks really similar, and that's what amazed the Chinese audience back then. Like first off, there was not so much internet 5-minute. I mean, 5-minute fame was not so many. So he became the center of attention back then. And the coincidence of how he layered, and not only of the outfit, but also the attitude he shows on his face, right? The toughness, like it captured the imagination of Chinese people, because that's a tough life, and not many people understand that life. Just from this frame, it's randomly captured. And then like a Chinese, wow, like who is this guy? Like he looks really edgy, almost sexy, like has a certain sex appeal from this homeless, because okay, now we're in 2022, right? So from top down, the government said, the media projected men like in a way that's too feminine. Like your skins are so smooth, and the hair, everything is like beautified. It's like a too well groomed to be even a guy. You lost your toughness. You lost masculinity, and this is a counter, like an antidote to that. And this is before the age of Chinese media and entertainment package men in that image. Like today, probably flower boys, our beautiful faces are the things that sell on eyeball market. But back then, Xi Li Ge, who is a street survivor, the most famous homeless person in China, was the center of attention. And that forms a contrast. And I mean, a little bit about his bio. He was, I mean, it was really a sad story. Like he wanted to make a living for the life and for his family. And he has 2 sons. And he left home to make a living in the city, as many within China domestic immigrant workers from the countryside moving into big city looking for a job, and then they will mail money back to home. I mean, that's a better way to make money, because between the city and the countryside, there's such an imbalance of wealth distribution, right? So that's where most people choose to do. Go into city, make quick money relatively, than farming. That's the old way of living, and then mail back. But he had some mental struggles, and of course, as immigrant workers in the big cities, like he was not rooted in there, like nobody, like there's no supportive system over there to support him through the struggle. So he lost contact with his family in 2003, and I guess from somebody says he may have autism, so his social skills was not that great, and you can imagine, like even surviving in the big cities in China, that you have to at least have basic social skills, even as an assembly worker, right? So he lost job, I guess, and that's how like he feel like he has no faith. Like he didn't make it in the city. He couldn't mail money back. He kind of failed as husband, as son. So he doesn't want to go back home either. So he became a homeless. And when this picture was captured, and he became the most famous person of that year, his family eventually realized that that's him, and go look for him. And he did return back to home. And I mean, there were this whole emotional depiction of the reactions of how he have to readjust from life on the street to life at home, taking care of that family, and how that reverse the softening process. So when the next time media show up on his doorstep to see how he was doing, after he returned home, he lost that edge. He doesn't look like that, of course. Like who would voluntarily look at that? Because it was totally projecting this tough life image, and that's the male image was appreciated back then, that you need to have that kind of toughness, and that was a rarity in China. We don't, I mean, men over there don't really usually look like that, doesn't have that, almost like a, I don't want to say killer, but have that beastly, strong self-defense kind of mechanism on them. Doesn't have that look. So that's his bio. Kind of he resumed life as normal and lost his edge, but the phenomenon of 犀利哥 existed, and even today when you say to people, refer to this 犀利哥 image, they can still recall. Okay, that's the story of our Chinese sharp dude. Cash into the currency of thinking about one word a day with Sophie. See you another day.